This time from the end of the bar, you have a little bit insight into the shop as we move around and do our videos. But we thought we'd tell you a little bit more about us. We kind of touched on it in our intro video. Like I said, I am from a big family, 5 brothers, 2 sisters. I'm number 6 out of 8. I played soccer growing up. Also played volleyball and a little basketball in grade school. But then when I hit high school, volleyball and soccer at the same time. So I had to pick, and I chose soccer. And it was probably a good choice because I do love the game. I love the sport. And thankfully now they're getting a little bit better about showing it on TV, because I always hated when they would zoom in on one player. It's like, wait, I want to see where all the off-ball runs are and like who's going where and what kind of defense. And at least now getting to watch it on TV is getting a little bit better. But they've always been good about football, basketball, baseball. I'm sure you guys watched a lot in your house.
We watched football, basketball, didn't watch a lot of baseball, played a lot of backyard baseball. This is going to age me, but I did not have soccer as a choice growing up. Didn't come until my youngest brother was senior in high school that soccer became a sport up in New York. So, soccer was new to me. Didn't know the sport till my kids started playing it.
Well, I feel lucky growing up in Cincinnati because it's been a huge haven of soccer and other sports. I mean, Ohio's known for football too. But as for soccer, I was playing, so after I graduated from college and come back home, I played at Wofford College. It's a Division I school, but it's very small. Most of you might have heard about it lately, though, because they've had some good basketball teams that have made the tournament and even won a game or two. And my boy Fletcher Mcgee is the all-time 3-point shooter now for total 3-pointers in a career in Division I, and he is a Wofford player. He passed Steph Curry and a couple other really great shooters to have that honor just 2 years ago.
At Wofford?
Yeah. Played at Wofford.
That's impressive.
So that's why you might have
heard
of my small school. He's playing in Europe now. He didn't get drafted. He did play for the Bucks for a little while on their practice squad, but he's now in Europe, and maybe someday he'll be back and I'll get to watch him do more 3-pointers. But after school, then I came back and I was playing soccer. I was playing on a men's team, and then I was playing on a co-ed team. And I had a guy stop me and say, "Hey, I'm about to start this USL team. I want you to try out for my team." And it turns out this man that I'd never met before, he was an older gentleman, my high school soccer coach walks up, and he has since moved on and was coaching in college, knew the guy, and he was like, "Hey, Cathy," and we were talking, and it turns out the man who had asked me to try out for his team had coached my oldest siblings when they grew up in Kentucky, because he was like, "Wait a minute, are you related to Jack and Susan Green?" And it was this whole small world thing all around soccer, which was kind of cool. But I also have a love of, the patch cards, like I'm telling you, and unfortunately I don't own any great soccer patch cards yet. I'm going to work on that. But right now I can show you some of my favorite football ones,
a good goal.
And basketball ones. Right, it's a goal for me.
Start collecting.
Right. So when I say good patch cards, I mean like the SEC logo. It's a 1-on-1 Benny Snell. See, these are my husband's collection cards, and so I just usurp them. They can be my favorites, and they live in my house or they live in the shop, and collecting them too.
So this is different than for those of you that are learning like me that does not have a patch card. So let's look at that. Doesn't have a patch.
I know, but that's a different card.
I know.
I'll tell later.
Okay. Well, can we show? Okay, she doesn't want me to show that. Well, I wish we had. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got one that's not even. Oh, this is a. Is this? Yep. So this is a little bit different too, but you can see it doesn't have a patch. So these are. I've learned that these are better because they have that patch in them. They're going to be more expensive, and I've also learned that as soon as you get a really good card, you want to put it in one of these containers.
You want to put it in a nice case. Yeah. So I also really like good patches from bowl games. So we'll just have Holly here show you a couple. So explain
that. What's the difference between a regular patch card and a patch from a bowl game?
Well, A regular patch can be anything. It can be just what my husband refers to as a napkin patch, one color. And to me, those are boring, especially on super nice cards. So I really like the ones like this one. You can see it's from the Music City Bowl. If you get a good look up there, and
it's a UK person.
Yeah.
Like I said, I am a big UK fan because I went to school here for a couple of years. Transferred my last 3 semesters, but kind of ironic that I'm back here in Lexington. Never dreamed that I would be back here in Lexington, Kentucky, a place that I love.
Yeah, here's a cool Zack Moss. And by the way, I loved watching his dad play. He was a phenomenal receiver. So those are some bowl game patches. And so
and our bowl game patch is going to be more pricey.
Well, they're more rare.
The value of the card.
They're more rare because they only play in one bowl game a year. It's different than like the jerseys from the regular season. So it's just that one game, and that's the game they played in, and that's the bowl game, and hopefully if it's a guy you love, it's a game they won.
So if it's a bowl patch, it's going to be a card's going to be worth more than a regular like SEC patch or just a patch off a jersey.
Hopefully. But the SEC patches are pretty rare and they're one of one, so that card is probably a little bit more expensive.
Right. Then, we don't have any normal patches out here. We'll have to show them too.
Yeah, because I just pulled out the cool ones that I love. Because I also love when it has part of the name in it, and that looks like it's the A and the V from Davis. So that's an Anthony Davis card. You can tell it's already graded, and it's probably one of my husband's special
graded cards, that's another thing we can talk about for those that you don't know, because I didn't know. I really don't know much. We might need Jimmy for that, but what do you know? I know that if it's graded, 10 is the best. Okay, this is a 9.5, and that makes the price of the card more expensive. That's all I know. And it has to be sent off to a company that is got the ability to do the grading. Not anybody can just grade. So you have to be trained, and they've got qualifications that do that. I don't know any of that. So what else do you know besides what I know about the grading?
Well, I know that once it's in here, that it is sealed in here and it preserves the card. So even if you love the card and it doesn't grade well, you probably still want to grade it because it's going to preserve it for you forever.
You mean store it?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a preservation thing on top of the dollar value. But then it also, since it preserves it, it keeps the value up because you're not going to ding the corners.
Right.
And actually with the thicker cards and the patch cards, instead of 4 corners,
Jimmy,
there are now 8 corners.
Did you hear us about the patches?
Top corner,
the grading?
Yeah, sorry, I'm in the back opening stuff. So
there's top corners.
So when you send them
you're exactly right. I mean, you don't need me for much.
What makes you choose to have a card graded versus not having another card graded?
To me, it's
the first step.
To me, it's 2 things. It's one, resale value. A good grade bumps the value through the roof, right? And especially with older cards, because the only thing that separates in older cards is condition, because they made so many of them, or vintage cards. But it's preserving them, keeping them nice. Like even cards like. I bought this one this way, but if it says authentic, I would have cards slabbed authentic, even if I didn't want to see a number, just because I'm never selling it. I don't care. I'm not doing it for resale. I just want it safe. Because some people, even if it graded as 7, which looks different than this gold, I don't care. I just may not want to see the 7 up there, so I graded it authentic. But to me, the other thing is when they grade patch cards, they also grade this stuff around the patch, so if that's all messed up. So it's so hard to get a 9.5 or a 10 on a patch card because you're grading what you were about to say, which is the top corners and the bottom corners because they're so thick, and they're grading this. So to me, it's like it's just so hard to get it. But these are definitely favorites. I like what you've chosen. It's awesome.
Probably
Thanks,
why it's in your special stash.
What's his is mine, right?
Yep, exactly.
And if we go over to basketball, okay, check out this patch. I love these patches that are from the label also. So you can get, an Adidas label or an Under Armour label or a Nike swoosh patch. But you get the tag, and it's usually a low numbered card because there isn't much in the,
So what I noticed,
in a tag.
So what I noticed difference about this card is there's two set. Why did this come this way? Two sets.
Yes, it's called a booklet. Okay. So you need a special case for it that holds the booklet card. So it has, if we were to take it out of there, it would fold in half.
Nice.
So you can see, but I do love Jamal Murray. I love the way he plays and how much he hustles. He plays for the Grizzlies. He was the number 2 draft pick right behind Zion in the NBA draft last year. And I just love how he plays and love how he hustles. And so I don't really have an NBA team because when I was little, we had the Cincinnati Royals, but they left and they became the Kings. But I mean, I don't really have a connection to Sacramento. And I do have to say, there is a King that I do absolutely love. De'Aaron Fox was one of my favorite players to ever come through Kentucky because I felt like he was so underrated compared to the other people in his draft class or his recruiting class at Kentucky. My husband was showing me Bam Adebayo and Malik Monk videos for months before the season started, but none about Fox. And so when we went and we saw Big Blue Madness and I saw him practice for the first time, I was like, oh my, that guy is special. Look at how he moves with the ball, how quick he is with it in his hands. Love Fox. And so I guess he is my king to watch. But that brings me back to why I don't really have a specific NBA team because now I just love watching players that I like. And I want those players to do well and their teams to do well. And actually make the playoffs so much fun because, being married to a diehard Kentucky fan, I have adopted them and there were so many Kentucky guys that were playing in the playoffs and going through the roof. Like this guy, Mr. Jamal Murray. This is another one of my favorites. It's a patch and auto card.
So it's a little bit better. Another one where you can actually have the card autographed too. Yeah. And all of the different little aspects of these cards raises the price of what they could be worth. And how well the player's doing, if it's a patch, if it's signed. And
it's definitely part of his I think it's part of the Nuggets, the logo on the front of his jersey. It has multiple colors, which I like. And it's an on-card auto, which is another thing that differentiates cards, is that sometimes they sign a sticker and then they just label, put stickers on cards.
Right.
But this one was actually in Jamal Murray's hand. He signed it directly on the card. So that is fabulous. So that's another reason why I love that one.
Explain what this one is.
So this one,
this is the Immaculate Cleats. Immaculate is a type of card for those who are new and want to get on this, of company that makes cards, right?
Well, it's Panini, but it's one of their brands. Yes, it's a higher end card.
Panini higher end card. And so, but if you see this, it doesn't look like a patch.
It's a chunk of the cleat. It's a chunk of his shoe. So it's
a patch, but it's from the shoe, not a jersey.
Which is also very cool. They also make patches and them out of gloves for receivers and different players who.
No, do we have? I'm a hockey fan. Do we have hockey?
We do have hockey.
We play hockey. We need some hockey. I know there's women out there, and women in hockey are loud and boisterous. And so, where are the women of hockey?
So, you guys are going to have to come out of the woodwork for Holly here because I have a lot less experience with hockey, so I didn't pick out any hockey cards to share because they sell them in the shop, so you can buy hockey cards here, but I don't have any of them in my special collection. I need to learn more about that sport. Yeah.
I've never collected hockey, watched hockey. Hockey was big in the North.
Think about
Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, yeah.
A brother that just follows them, diehard Buffalo Sabres, can get kind of upset at the TV if they're not doing well. But that would be fun to get into collecting of the hockey. Yeah. Now I do Wayne Gretzky.
I do know
the all-time Wayne. Who doesn't know Wayne?
I know a bunch of players. I just haven't. I've never been to an NHL game.
Oh, they're fun.
Cincinnati actually has a couple minor league teams, so I've been to a hockey game that's a semi-professional or, you know, like a lower level professional. So they're always fun to attend.
They're fun.
And it's so much faster in person. It's so much better in person than
the reason I thought of hockey was because I've never skates.
Exactly. I've never been to an NHL.
It's fun.
Game. So I need to add that. That's on my bucket list. That's one of my sports bucket list things, and we can do a whole different show about that.
But did they? I guess they would do the same thing with hockey as far as having part of their skate on there.
Probably. Like that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
The goalie's glove, the other glove. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So to continue with some of my favorite things. So I've always talked about patch cards, and if you've ever listened to me open off screen and hand them to Jimmy, you know how much I love cool patches and the multiple colors and different things. But another sneaky favorite of mine are sketch cards, and they are rare to find in boxes and in product that you pull. But I have several different sketch cards. My husband loves Deion Sanders, and I gave him a sketch card of Deion one year. Wow. So they do make the sports ones, but they are much more prominent when you go into like TV and movies. And I have here, this is actually one of my absolute favorite sketch cards, and it's double-sided. So show them both sides. So it's Star Wars.
Star Wars.
So
we've got the sketch
it's
card.
Rey, and then on the other side is one of her little
that's pretty
speeder vehicles. This is also a special favorite because it was drawn specifically for us, well, Jimmy, but me too, by one of our former counselors at camp, Juan Rubiano.
Oh, really?
He drew that all by hand. And so that's why I love the sketch cards. You get a you always get a one of one.
Juan drew this on this card? Mm-hmm. Was it blank? I'm confused.
Yes. So when the places give them out, they send artists blank cards, and they do whatever scene they want. And sometimes it's a sketch, sometimes it's pen and ink, sometimes it's pencil. I've seen watercolors. Sometimes they're super detailed. Sometimes it's just a kind of caricature of the character. But this was a blank card that Jimmy had. And Juan Rubiano was like, I'm going to do something cool for you. And he drew that, and then he decided to do...
Does that not look like a professional artist?
Double-sided. So very cool, very talented people out there doing the sketch cards.
He drew it on the backside.
Yeah, he drew it all.
Wow, that's impressive. I had no idea.
Yeah. So, ladies, why don't you hit us up and tell us what your favorites are? And
favorite sports, favorite teams, favorite players. Maybe we can start getting some of those in and do live openings.
Yeah, and so tell us your favorite cards, tell us your favorite things to collect, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to have you in the shop anytime you are near Lexington.
Fathers, bring in your daughters. Bring them in. You never know what you might open up in a child of yours by bringing them in here and sharing this experience with us.
Exactly. We can't wait to hear from you.